All right, so have you ever looked at a book and just thought, wow,
Yeah.
like 900 pages?
900 pages.
I don't know about that.
That's a commitment.
That's a big commitment.
Yeah, for sure.
But maybe it's a commitment worth making.
Maybe so.
That's what we're going to find out today on the Deep Dive.
Absolutely.
We are talking about Lonesome Dove,
Big book.
Pulitzer Prize winner.
Pulitzer Prize winner.
So we'll see if it lives up to the hype.
We'll dive deep.
We'll do our best.
No spoilers, though.
No spoilers.
We'll give you all the information you need to decide if you want to pick this one up.
Exactly, so that you can make the call for yourself.
Right.
All right, so Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry.
Right.
Some of you out there might recognize that name.
You might.
He's done a few other things.
For other things? Yeah.
Terms of Endearment.
The Last Picture Show?
The Last Picture Show.
Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote the screenplay for that one.
Yeah, and won an Oscar for it.
Yeah.
But Lonesome Dove is his big one.
That's the one he's best known for.
That's the one he won the Pulitzer for.
1986.
Exactly.
Yeah. Big book. Texas
Damn
Drive.
crazy thing.
1880s.
Yep. All the way up to Montana.
From the southern border of Texas all the way up to Montana.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
It's a long way.
And this book kind of follows these two guys.
Yeah.
Woodrow Call,
Augustus McCrae.
Augustus McCrae.
They're retired Texas Rangers.
And they decide to get the old gang back together.
Well, they get some of them back together.
Some of them
Yeah.
to drive this herd of cattle
North.
to Montana.
Yep.
So what is it about this book that's so captivating?
Well, it's a Western,
It is a Western.
but it's not just a Western.
Okay, what else is it?
I mean, it's got all these different things going on.
Okay.
You've got the cattle drive,
Yeah.
which is like this big adventure story.
Okay.
But then you've also got a love story,
Okay.
and you've got
Oh, maybe multiple love stories.
yeah. And you've also got like kind of a meditation on what it means to be a man.
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Especially in the context of the American West in the late 19th century.
All right, so it's a lot more than you might expect
That's a lot more.
from your typical Western.
It's very complex.
Right.
It's not just a simple adventure story.
So this is one of those books, like I was
It's
saying at the beginning,
Huge.
where it's a commitment.
It's a commitment.
So, you pick it up and you think, am
Yeah.
I going to get through this thing?
Am I going to make it all the way?
But a lot of people have said that it's worth it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
One Goodreads reviewer said
Yeah.
that it's less about conquering new lands and more about how to live.
So it's more of like a
life lesson kind of thing.
a philosophical kind of book,
Kind of.
more than just cowboys and Indians.
Yeah, much more.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll dive into all that.
We will.
But first,
We
we should talk about the fact that this book, yes,
has a very interesting tone.
it does.
It's violent.
Yes.
It's grim.
Very.
It's kind of dark in places.
Yeah, it's not afraid to show the dark side of the West.
But it's also got like these moments of humor
Yeah.
and nostalgia and
And just beauty.
beauty. Yeah.
Yeah, just like the beauty of the landscape.
And the beauty of the relationships between the characters.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really hard to categorize.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't really put it in a box. It's
Right.
it's its own thing.
Yeah.
Somebody compared it to Philip Meyer's The Sun.
Okay.
This is another big
Yeah, I've heard of that.
thing of sprawling
Yeah.
Western saga.
Okay.
But
different.
different in that it's really focused on the individual lives of the characters.
Lonesome Dove is?
Yeah, Lonesome Dove is.
Okay.
And especially Augustus McCrae.
Gus.
That's his nickname.
Right.
Okay, so it's about this guy Gus and how he learns to live.
Yeah, and how he kind of
With
enjoys the small things.
Yeah. Enjoys the small things in life.
Yeah.
Okay.
And finds beauty in unexpected places.
Okay, so there's kind of like a philosophical element to this as well.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not just action and adventure.
All right, so we've talked about
Yeah.
the fact that it's got a really interesting tone.
Mm-hmm.
It's got this kind of philosophical element to it.
Yeah.
And it's also got,
It's got a lot of praise.
it has won a lot of awards.
That has.
So what are some of the things that the critics have said?
Well, Kirk Reviews
Yeah.
said
Okay.
that it was large, stately, and intensely powerful,
Okay.
and a masterly novel that will appeal to lovers of fiction of the first order.
Fiction of the First Order.
Yeah,
That's high praise.
that is high praise.
Okay.
They particularly lauded the characters.
Okay.
They said they were sharply drawn,
Yeah.
engaging, and moving.
Okay, so really well-developed characters, and that's kind of what we were talking about before. Like, that's one of the things that really sets this book apart.
Yeah, it's not just about the plot.
Yeah.
It's about the people
Okay.
and how they interact with each other.
So we know that the critics loved it.
Yeah.
We know that it won the Pulitzer Prize. And we know that it was a bestseller.
It was huge.
So people were buying it and reading it.
They were.
But what about the everyday reader?
Yeah. What did they think?
What are they saying about this book?
Yeah.
Because they're not...
Goodreads is a good place to look.
Yeah, because they're not,
Yeah.
professional critics.
Right. So one Goodreads reviewer said that it was a surprisingly wonderful read,
Okay.
filled with characters who felt very real and even lovable,
Okay, so you're getting attached to these characters.
even though they're flawed,
Even though they're flawed.
which makes them even more interesting.
Yeah.
And several reviewers mentioned that they were just overwhelmed
Yeah.
by the book.
It's a big book.
It's a big book.
Yeah.
And they couldn't really put into words how much they loved it or how much it affected them.
Okay.
So,
That's pretty powerful.
yeah, I mean, when you can't even describe how you feel, that's saying something.
All right, so we've got people saying that they can't even put into words what they felt about it.
Yep.
We've got people saying that the characters are so real and lovable.
Yep.
Okay, what else are people saying?
They're saying that the book really transports them
Okay.
to the Wild West.
Like you're there.
Like you're right there on the cattle drive with them.
Okay.
And they're also saying that it's just a beautifully written book
Okay.
with great characters.
So the writing itself
The writing itself is beautiful.
is really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very evocative,
Okay.
and it really draws you in.
Okay.
It's not just
It's not just a plot-driven book.
simple story.
Yeah.
The writing itself is something special.
Yeah.
One reviewer even called it the grandest novel ever written about the last defiant wilderness of America.
Wow.
I know.
That's
pretty grand.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another reviewer said that it was the great American novel.
Wow.
Yeah.
And another one said that it was a book to read before you die. So we're getting
It's getting some serious accolades.
serious accolades.
Yeah. Okay.
And people really connect with Gus.
Gus McCrae.
Yeah, the lovable rogue.
Lovable rogue.
Okay. They talk about how he just makes them laugh and cry.
He's that good.
He's that good.
Oh.
He's just so well developed.
Okay.
And so human.
All right. So we've got a lot of people saying really good things about this book.
We do.
But is there anything bad to say about it?
Yeah.
It can't all be good.
Not everybody loved it.
Okay.
One Goodreads reviewer said that it was a mixed bag.
Mixed bag. Okay.
Yeah.
What didn't they like about it? Well,
They thought it was a little bit too long.
too long, too meandering,
Okay, too meandering.
too much going on.
Too many subplots that didn't really go anywhere.
Okay.
They also thought that the women were not very well developed,
Okay.
except for one.
Okay.
And they also thought that it was full of Wild West cliche.
Okay. So it wasn't really.
It wasn't really breaking any new ground.
That's a unique ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they also thought that some of the sexual assault
Okay.
was used for comic relief.
Which is not good.
No, not good.
Okay. So.
Yeah. So it wasn't a perfect book.
It wasn't a perfect book.
No.
But it seems like, for the most part, people really enjoyed it.
Most people really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And even McMurtry himself
Yeah.
kind of had some mixed feelings about it.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He was surprised by how much people loved it.
Okay.
And he said that he thought it was more of a poor man's inferno.
Then a Gone with the Wind of the West,
Okay.
which is what a lot of people seem to think it is.
They see it as like a
Romantic vision of the West.
Okay.
But he thought it was much more
It's grim.
and gritty
Okay.
and violent.
All right. So we've talked about the plot.
Yeah.
We've talked about the characters.
Uh-huh.
We've talked about what the critics thought.
Yeah.
What the readers thought.
Mm-hmm.
What the author himself thought.
Yep.
So let's talk about some of these characters.
Okay.
Like, who are some of the big names that we should be looking out for?
Well, obviously you've got Woodrow F. Cole and Augustus McCrae.
Gus and Cole.
Gus and Cole.
They're the main guys?
They're the main guys.
Okay.
They're both former Texas Rangers.
And they're best friends.
They're best friends.
Okay.
But they're very different.
Okay.
Cole is very stoic and duty-bound.
Okay.
And Gus is more of a
jokester?
a romantic,
Okay.
a ladies' man. So they have this really interesting dynamic.
Okay.
But they're both very loyal to each other.
Okay.
And they both have a deep love for the West.
Okay.
Even though they see it in very different ways.
Okay, so that's kind of like the heart of the book.
And that's the heart of the book.
Okay.
Then you've got Newt, who is Cole's unacknowledged son.
So there's a little secret there.
There's a secret there.
Okay.
Then you've got Lorena Wood.
Lorena Wood.
Who is a former prostitute.
Okay.
with a very sad backstory.
Okay.
She's a very complex character.
Okay.
And then you've got July Johnson,
July Johnson.
who's a sheriff from Arkansas, who's on the trail of Jake Spoon.
Who's Jake Spoon?
He's another one of the former Texas Rangers.
Okay.
He's kind of a scoundrel,
Okay.
but he's also very charming.
Okay.
And then you've got Clara Allen,
Clara Allen.
who is Gus's former love interest.
Okay.
And she's a very strong and independent woman.
Okay.
She's living out in Nebraska, and she's kind of got a life of her own. And then you've got Blue Duck.
Blue Duck.
Who's the villain of the story.
Okay.
He's a notorious Indian bandit.
Okay.
And he's just pure evil.
Pure evil.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's terrifying.
So those are some of the
Those are some of the big ones.
big names to look out for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one thing that I think is really interesting about this book
Yeah.
is that it doesn't shy away from the complexities of the West.
Okay.
It shows the good and the bad.
Okay.
It shows the beauty of the landscape.
Yeah.
But it also shows the violence and the cruelty.
Yeah.
And it shows the displacement of the Native Americans
Yeah.
and the impact that that had on them.
Okay. So it's
Not just a romanticized version of the West, it's a more realistic.
more realistic.
Yeah.
And it also
And it also
raises some interesting questions about
okay,
what it means to be a man.
what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
Okay,
In that
cool.
time and place. All right. So
Yeah.
we've got a good sense of the characters. We've got a good sense of the plot. We've got a good sense of the themes.
Yep.
So who should read this book?
I think this book
Yeah.
is for anyone who loves a good story.
Okay.
It's for anyone who loves the West.
Okay.
It's for anyone who loves great characters.
Okay.
It's for anyone who's interested in history.
Okay.
It's for anyone who's interested in human nature.
Okay. So it's kind of for everyone.
It's kind of for everyone.
Yeah.
But it's also a very long book.
It is a long book.
So you have to be prepared to make a commitment.
Okay. Okay. You
So
gotta
You got to really want to read it.
Yeah, you gotta be in it for the long haul.
You got to be in it for the long haul.
Okay.
But if you are,
Yeah.
I think you'll be rewarded.
Okay, so it's not a book to pick up
Yeah.
if you're just looking for something light and easy.
No. It's a book that you really have to sink your teeth into. But it's worth it.
All right, so there you have it.
There you have it.
Lonesome Dove
Lonesome Dove.
by Larry McMurtry.
Pulitzer Prize winner.
Bestseller.
Bestseller.
Classic.
Classic.
What more could you want?
So, have we convinced you
To give it a try.
to give it a try?
I hope so.
Because it really is a great book.
It is.
And it's one that will stay with you
It will.
long after you finish reading it.
Absolutely.
All right, so that is our deep dive
That's it.
on Lonesome Dove.
Lonesome Dove.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
If you've read it,
Uh-huh.
if you haven't read it,
Yeah.
let us know if we convinced you to read it.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
All right, so until next time,
Until next time.
happy reading.
Happy reading.
Bye.